I decided to install a mod that lets me create rockets and explore the space, and my challenge for today's video is pretty simple. Make a rocket, go to the moon, survive 100 days, build a base, and most importantly, have fun as I do it all. Will I pull this off? Well, almost. Alright, I see that we're gonna need a lot of steel. So how do I make steel? Etherionic blast furnace, iron and coal. I need a lot of that shit, bro. Wait. Let me explain what just happened here. Those chests were full, but installing the mod caused all of the contents to glitch and disappear. And because I have no backup, it means we have to deal with it and figure something out. But I do have an idea because I have some beacons. And yeah, I think we can work with that, bro. Alright, so we've got plenty of stuff. Can I use charcoal? Because if I can use... Yeah, I can use charcoal, so... Alright, so while these furnaces are making charcoal, let's make iron plates. I can make them in a compressor. And how can I make a compressor? I need a piston. Yeah, I do have pistons. This is a secret room that is supposed to make some noise. Let's just take all of this. So we're gonna make a compressor. Wait, it needs energy. Hell nah. Generator. Block of coal and iron. That ain't a problem. There we go, a coal generator. Now if we place the coal generator next to the compressor, then we can compress iron into iron plates. So now we can make the Etherionic blast furnace, and we need a normal blast furnace for this. I'm too lazy. A blast furnace, Etherionic blast furnace, and it probably runs on energy too. Alright, so is it getting energy? Yes, it is. Alright, so now if I place this and this, I should be getting steel ingots, yes. So let me just load it up and just go AFK. What else can I do, bro? We've got plenty of steel actually. So let's try and make the NASA workbench. Alright. Bro, this shit always scares the shit out of me, bro. Alright, so we've got 5 steel plates. Now we can make steel rods, and we need a steel block. We need a crafting table, 2 redstone torches, iron rods. And now we can make the NASA workbench.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
This thing looks amazing, yo. Yeah, and here we will be crafting our rocket. I think this is everything we need. Let's try. There we go. Let's go. I think I'm gonna launch the rocket from the top of this building. Cause why not? Let's make a launch pad. Yo, this shit looks fire, bro. In the beginning, I said something about fuel, but I still don't know how to make fuel for the rocket. And after doing some research, it turns out I need to find some weird oil well. Collect the oil, like the crude oil, then put it into the refinery, and this way I get fuel, which wouldn't be a problem if I had my elytra, but because everything had to glitch out and disappear, I do not have my elytra, which means I'll have to walk and find it myself. Oh man, that is gonna take so much time. I will take some iron, some shulker boxes. Yeah, I think I'll just go. I gotta get them both, bro. Come on. Bro, why is you so mad at me, bro? Let's try. Alright, you know what? I'm done with you. Let's just go. Alright, so the river goes like so. And I think it will lead us to some kind of a sea or something. Wait. Is this it? I think this is an oil well. Yeah, I think this is it, bro. What else can this be than oil, bro? Let's see. Oil bucket. Yeah, this is oil. Alright, so this is 28 buckets, which should be enough. Yo, I've got an idea. Now we gotta get back to our base. So let's just go. So let's see how we can make a refinery. This shit easy, once again. Probably gonna run on energy. Yeah, that's right. What do we do? Like, do we just put like oil in here? Is that all we do? Yo. Wait. We've got the Create mod installed, right? If you're not familiar with the Create mod, it is basically a mod that adds a bunch of rotational energy stuff, meaning like cogwheels, water wheels, and just a bunch of stuff that allows us to automate other things so that we don't have to put in things manually, which works perfectly here. By the way, this contraption just allows me to drop the oil buckets onto this block that you see, and the oil will go into the refinery by itself. Let's just put all of the oil buckets in here and... Bro, are you kidding me? So we lost like 12 buckets of crude oil, which would turn into 12 fuel buckets. Alright, so we won't need this anyways. Alright, so in the end, we've got 16 fuel buckets, which should be enough. I'm gonna put this into the rocket and we will see. How do I... 1, 2... Alright, so 3 buckets is a full fuel tank. We're ready to go. Nah, just kidding. We gotta make a spacesuit. We also need oxygen. Bro, that's gonna be just hard, bro. We just made the whole spacesuit. Yo, this looks fire, bro. But we still need oxygen, and for that, we're gonna need a so-called oxygen compressor. Is that right? Yeah, oxygen. This is easy, bro. Oxygen loader. Alright, so I figured out that there's a better way to create oxygen, and that is to have the pumps from the create mod to pump the water into this tank and then have the oxygen loader suck in the water. This way we can create basically infinite oxygen. So I already have my spacesuit loaded up, and I also have 3 large gas tanks, so this should last us for a pretty long time. But this is not everything, because if we are going on the moon and we want to kind of survive there, it means that we gotta take a lot of other stuff with us. For example, we gotta take some seeds, some other organic stuff. We're gonna need some more materials to take with us. We cannot place any torches on the moon whatsoever because there is no oxygen, so we will have to use glowstone as our light source. So let's go to the nether real quick. Honestly, I don't even remember. Yo, there it is. Yo, actually a base made out of this would be cool. You know what? Let me take some with me. So these are the 4 shulker boxes we will be taking with us. The first one has a bit of organic stuff and a bit of materials. The another one is more technical, having some electricity stuff to produce oxygen, as well as some create mod things. We also are taking some fuel and some water with us, and we are also taking a lot of oxygen. We're also taking a lot of building material, because if you know me, which you probably don't, I refuse to build an ugly base. My base has to be perfect, or at least good looking. So that's why I'm taking so much building material, and I'm just gonna take all of this stuff, change into my spacesuit, and that's it. That's the moment where we go to the moon, finally. Alright, let's also take those scaffoldings with us. If we were to go over 10,000 blocks that direction, we would stumble upon my old base, and yeah, that's it. Last step on Earth, and let's just go. The rocket has consumed all of the fuel. We are now leaving the Earth atmosphere, which opens the chapter number 1, where the goal is to establish self-sustainability. Yo, this looks nice. We can see the Earth, which we just left. We can see the sun. Alright, let's apply the boosters so that we don't crash. Welcome on the moon. We are officially on the moon. We can see the Earth, we can see the sun. Let's get our rocket back, and yeah, the first thing we gotta do is to create some kind of a base. We are now officially on the moon, breathing the oxygen from our spacesuit tank, which level is displayed in the upper left corner. If it goes to 0, we will suffocate, and look how fast it goes down. At this tempo, the 3 tanks we took with us won't keep us alive even for 10 days, so we have to find a way to produce oxygen here on the moon. Luckily, I did think of this. Alright, so here we are. This looks good enough, I guess. I know that there is something called oxygen distributor, which allows us to distribute the oxygen in this room. So we will have a room full of oxygen, which means that we can take our spacesuit off and still breathe normally. But for that, we need something that's called dash plates, and dash is only present here on moon. And I saw a structure outside that I'll show you, and actually I think I'll just go and try to take whatever is in that structure, and maybe we will find some dash. Honestly, I hope this is true because I don't want to spend my time on the moon mining. So there is the structure. Also, as you can see, my oxygen is going down, and because I've made this large gas tank, I can just right click and refill my spacesuit with more oxygen. Anyways, I don't know if this is a hostile environment. Are you going to attack me? Hello? Yo, these are kind of like the local villagers. That's nice. Yo, we have some nether stuff. Alright, that's nice. Yo, there's more of them. What do we have here? Coal, moon sand, ironous mushroom. I don't know what this is, but I'm taking this with me. And let's just see what else we've got here. Yo, we've got lava and fuel. I'm taking this. Alright, so another room, and here we've got some dash. Alright, we're set. And we also got some launch pads, more spacesuit, which is cool, I guess. And we also got cheese, because moon is made out of cheese. Yeah, that makes sense. And we also got more coal. Yo, even more lava, even more fuel. So we have enough fuel to go back, theoretically. But we don't plan on coming back, so we don't care about that. Alright, so there's another kind of mushroom, strawfar mushroom. And we also got even more cheese. And actually, I want to check something. Can I sleep on the moon or will I explode? Alright, I can. So I'm gonna take this bed with me then. And we've got some iron. Alright, perfect. And we've got even more dash, even more diamonds, emeralds, redstone, coal. Anyways, let's go back. Yo, are you mad? Yo, what are you throwing? Bro, I don't want you here. Leave me alone, bro. Yo, this looks ugly, actually. I gotta fix this as soon as possible. Alright, so now that we've got dash, we can try and create the oxygen distributor, and we have to turn dash into dash plates, and for that we will use the mechanical press. So let's place a depot, and let's place 2 of these right here, and let's see. Yes, it is. Alright, that's cool. There we go, an oxygen distributor. And now if I place it somewhere, power it up with a coal generator and put some oxygen into it, then this room should be filled with oxygen. I can take my spacesuit off, and as you can see, I can breathe, but we have to produce the oxygen and we have to produce the electricity for it, which is the main problem. So I better put this back on. We gotta find some way to have more oxygen. So I'm just gonna figure something out and get back to you guys I'll just get back to you when I figure it out. Alright, so I think I finally kind of figured it out. We have multiple water wheels that are going through multiple gears to speed things up, and then this goes to those 4 water pumps. Right now the water is frozen, but that will change soon, and then the water goes into this tank. I also realized that we could make another tank purely for oxygen. So here we will have another tank, coal generator, an oxygen loader, and oxygen distributor above this, and another coal generator. Now we can power both of these things up. So I can tell the oxygen loader to take water from here and push the oxygen out into this tank, take oxygen from the oxygen loader and the tank on the right. So now this should work, but I have to give it a little bit of kickstart. Do I have any oxygen? Bro, come on, of course I do. Alright, so now we have some oxygen in this room. So now let's make this water source right here. And now let's power it up. Alright, so the oxygen loader is full of water. This is also getting full of water. I think it is working good enough to leave it as it is. We are getting more and more oxygen in this tank, which means that we are in an oxygen surplus. And also this is not going low, it is going only higher and higher and higher, so we basically have infinite oxygen. This just doesn't work as it should, but it still works, so I don't care that it's not working the way it should. Actually, I'm gonna make trapdoors right here. The water froze because I placed trapdoors. Bro, how stupid am I? So there can be no trapdoors right here. Alright, makes sense actually. I want to check what happens if I let the oxygen leak from the base. So make a little hole right here. Nothing really happened, like it just pushed me out, which is kind of what I expected, but oh, it stopped working. Oh no, this is an emergency. We don't want this happening ever. I just want to see if I can like spread the oxygen onto the moon. I can show where the oxygen is being distributed. Alright, let's see. So it is being distributed outside of my base, and it would be just better to kind of have this base constantly open. Alright, see, we're already out of it is not keeping up because of the electricity. So it's not the problem with water or anything like that. It is a problem with electricity. We don't have enough electricity to do what I wanted to do. So right now we have 3 problems. The first one being electricity. So let's get into it. We need more coal generators and cables. So let's make that. And to make 16 steel cables, we need 6 steel plates and 3 copper ingots. Luckily, I did take the copper with me from the earth, and we also got the steel plates right here. Alright, so let's quickly rearrange this. I gotta be real quick so that it doesn't shut down. And now, if we were to power up all of those 9 coal generators at the same time, then we would have enough electricity to spread the oxygen outside of this base and grow trees outside, but we will run out of the fuel for those 9 coal generators before the trees even grow. So we need some other way to fuel those 9 coal generators, at least for a little bit of time. This is a temporary solution, and I think that I've already found a solution, and for that we'll have to go to the village. Because as far as I remember, the floors are made out of so-called straw for stem, which can be turned into planks, which can be used as a temporary fuel. So I'm sorry, but I have to steal your floor, bro. Wait, I forgot I can do this. Alright, so after absolutely obliterating the whole floor of this village, or whatever the name for that place could be, we have 10 stacks of straw for stems, but the problem is that this actually might not be enough. We need something that will regrow on its own without oxygen. And there is a solution. Once again, let me show you. If we go into one of the rooms, we will stumble upon this warped fungi, which can grow into this weird tree, warped stem, which can be also turned into warped planks, and this can grow without oxygen. Problem is that this warped fungi will grow only on this warped Nylium, whatever this is. And the only way to collect this is using a pickaxe that has a silk touch effect on it. But there's also a way to get silk touch here on the moon, and that is to use those villagers, because as you can see, this guy is a librarian. If you ever played Minecraft before, then you know that we can actually re-roll his trades till we get an enchant we want, which in our case will be silk touch. So all I need is to take this lectern, place it, and we can re-roll the enchants as many times as we want until we get the silk touch. Projectile projection. Smite 4. Yo, we've got mending for 14 emeralds. Yeah, finally. Alright, 11 emeralds and 1 book. Emeralds are not a problem. I just gotta come back to my base. Hello, hello, is everything okay? Oh, we ran out of fuel. So let's put some straw for planks in those coal generators so that we don't run out of the fuel again. Alright, why did I even come here? Ah, emeralds. Well, that is not a problem. Oh shit. Actually, let's buy a few of those. Alright, so we've got 4 silk touch books. And let's make a pickaxe. Silk touch, there we go. So now we finally collected the warped Nylium on which we can grow the warped fungi. Which means that we can grow infinite wood without any oxygen. So now, let's place the block of warped Nylium and place the warped fungi on it. And let's get some bone meal too. Bro, let me in, bro! Bro, why are you so mad? Alright, so I think I have some bone meal somewhere. Yeah, that's right. Actually, you know what? Let's make doors, because I'm struggling to reach it, look. So you'll have 1 doors, and then another. So now. Yeah, there we go. And we can collect this. We can compost it into more bone meal. We can collect the warped stem, turn it into planks, and just put it into the coal generators, and we have... And we have infinite fuel source, basically. Yo, where is it? Yeah. Yo, but there's another problem. Warped fungi does not drop from the leaves like normal saplings do, because we only have warped word blocks. But there is also a solution to that, and for that we will need more netherrack. Back to the village we go. We need this and also this. So basically, as you can see, this warped nilium has turned back into normal netherrack. But let me show you one simple trick on how to get more warped nilium. Place netherrack, place warped nilium, and we can bone meal. We have a little bit of warped nilium, as you can see. So let's make a little like platform. And if we right click with bone meal, we are getting warped fungi sometimes. Yo, those vines are infinite bone meal glitch, because let me show you why. Using one bone meal makes it grow this tall. So I think we will actually get more bone meal than we have to spend on it. I don't know, but it's definitely something I do want to grow here. So now we just got a plant. So we have the warped fungi farm, which will power our oxygen generation. We also have a farm of vines, which we can use to make more bone meal that we gonna eventually need. But I still wanna check if I can try and spread the oxygen outside of this base without running out of energy. We have 9 coal generators, a lot of stropher stems to temporarily power that kind of a setup. So let's load up all of the coal generators. Yo, why isn't this one burning? Alright, after some research, it turns out that the warped fungi doesn't burn. The warped fungi farm, which will power our oxygen generation. I've just wasted a bunch of time on creating a warped fungi farm just so that I cannot use it as fuel. But guess what? I wanted to make my base out of warped fungi anyways, so that is not a problem actually. I will kindly just move on and do the thing that I would do anyways, which is create a normal farm, which will need oxygen, but that is not a problem. I mean, hopefully it is not a problem. So let's see if this machine dies having this enough energy if we open the door. Alright, so we have the oxygen outside of our base, which means that we could grow trees and plants over here. But the real question is whether this machine is keeping up with it. I think it is. I mean, the coal generators are basically emptying themselves out. I think we will not be in a situation where this thing stops working purely because of that. So there we go. We can open up our base just as if there was oxygen on the moon. And we can grow plants, grow trees, and do basically anything else we can down on Earth. Actually, you know what? Let's change one thing. Yeah, that's a lot better. So we have enough oxygen to have it all around here. And also, we are in a surplus, even while we're running an open oxygen distributor. But this consumes a lot of fuel, so we gotta be quick, because we are almost running out of it. We're gonna grow dark oak trees. As long as the sapling is within this zone, the tree will grow. And dark oak saplings give a lot of wood, so I think we will stick to them when it comes to making fuel. And you know what? Let's place it here, because why not? Let's use some bone meal. And we have a whole tree on the moon. How crazy is that? We have a tree growing on the moon. Actually, I'll make shears and collect all of the leaves so that we can put them into a composter and get bone meal back, because we don't really have any skeletons or anything else that could give us bone meal. And now I have enough bone meal to grow another tree. And now I can just collect the logs. We get 36, we can turn them into planks and just place it into the coal generators. So this whole setup of growing trees can be automated because we have the create mod installed. And if you know create mod, you know there's something called mechanical saw, which can cut trees. And now if I take the mechanical bearing, place it in the middle, then place a barrel on top of it, and then a saw like that, and make this bearing turn, this saw will be cutting any trees that are in the way. In order to make this thing work, we gotta glue those two blocks together, and for that we need super glue. And to make super glue, we need slime balls. And obviously slimes don't spawn, but we can craft a slime ball using lime dye and a dough. And we can make dough by making wheat flour and combining it with water. And in order to create wheat flour, we just need to crush wheat, which is something that we can grow. But we also need the lime dye. And in order to create lime dye, white dye can be made out of bone meal and green dye can be made out of cacti, which I likely did bring with me. I'm just gonna plant the cacti and just wait until it grows. Alright, so I've been AFK for a while and the trees grew, and we also have the cacti, so we can collect the cacti. And let's make green dye. And let's make 2 white dyes. And now we finally have the lime dye, so now we need to make the dough. And in order to make the dough, we need to grow those wheat seeds. Actually, you know what? Let's make a diamond hoe. Because I'm so rich, I'm gonna make my hoe out of diamonds, bro. And let's plant. And let's grow some of the wheat. Bro, we are growing wheat on the moon. I just want to remind you how crazy that is. And now let's collect it. And now we gotta make a millstone. Alright, let me power this up. Now let's put the wheat inside. And let's start turning this. Now this has turned into wheat flour, so we can combine it with water to create dough. And now we can combine the dough with the lime dye to create slime balls. And now we can finally create the super glue. So now I just right click on this and right click on this, and those 2 elements are glued together. And now I have to power this thing up so that it spins. I'm just gonna place a cogwheel right here, place a water wheel and make it spin like so. This thing is spinning the wrong way, so let me fix that real quick. I just gotta take this water from here and... Alright, so now the tree grew, and as you can see, this saw is now attempting to mine it, and it is actually doing it. And look what happens now. Oh, I thought it's going to destroy the whole tree. So we gotta make more saws to cut like the whole tree at once. Bro, that's not a problem. Alright, I think 4 should be enough. And now we can see if that works. Big moment of truth. Yeah, there we go. So now all of the tree went into this barrel. How cool is that, bro? Now we can just replant this. Now we can just put all of that wood into those coal generators and we are set to go. Alright, so those warped fungi seem to not grow. So I think I'll just get rid of some of them and use this space to grow all the kinds of trees, so birch, oak, etc. We got the electricity sorted out. We also got the plants sorted out. We also got the wood sorted out, which means that we can finally start building the base. First idea was to actually use those warped fungi because this is a nice blue color, but because they don't want to grow, it means that I'll have to figure something else out. But one thing kind of scares me. If I want to make a big base, then it means I'm gonna need a big farm and I'll need a lot of dirt. And the only way to get more dirt is by doing the coarse dirt trick. So you combine it with gravel, then you use a hoe on the coarse dirt and you get dirt back and you repeat the process, and all you are really consuming is gravel. But oh, I can make gravel out of cobblestone in the millstone, which means that I can make more dirt. Absolute cinema. So actually, you know what? A side quest. Let's make an automatic cobblestone generator. And the main element is a mechanical drill, which is really simple to make. Let's make 5 of those, and we're also gonna need some way to power it. I mean, we do have a pretty powerful force in this cog because it is being powered by a lot of water wheels. Alright, so let's just make it over here. So now the real question is whether 1 lava bucket is enough to make this much cobblestone. Alright, so it is. So now we can place 5 mechanical drills, connect them with a bunch of cogs, a big cog right here, and have this one shaft going through the whole base up to this place. And actually we can do a little bit of side quest right here. We can use this rotational power to power up this pump. Let's flip it and we will have this spout over here. So now it doesn't look that bad. Bro, how do I even connect this, bro? So I'm gonna have to make like a splinky splonky type contraption. I mean, it does look ugly. Yeah, I know. But it is a temporary solution, so we don't have to worry about this. Like, all of this will be a one big beautiful base eventually, so we don't have to worry about this not looking good. But right now all of the cobble is being wasted, so let's make a bunch of coppers to catch all of that cobblestone. Yeah, we are getting a lot of cobblestone, which is good because that's what we wanted. But as I said, I wanted to turn this into gravel. I'm gonna make a bunch of millstones and I'm gonna connect them to a hopper underneath. The idea is pretty straightforward. I'm just gonna mine down, place a millstone underneath them and just connect them like so. And I'm gonna use a cogwheel, another one, and I'm gonna extend this. I'm gonna place another cogwheel, and now we should be making gravel. And the reason why I went so far deep is because right here we have a layer of moon cobblestone, which means that the sand will not collapse on us. So we can place hoppers underneath here, and we can place a normal chest. So if we have gravel, it means that we can create more dirt. So let's try and do that. We have 20 of dirt. We combine it with gravel and we have 40 of coarse dirt, which we can place, hoe it down and then mine it. Oops. And now we are left with 40 dirt. And we can repeat the process once again. And now from just 20 blocks of gravel, we've got 80. So now I think there's actually nothing else we gotta like take care of. We can actually start doing whatever we want. However, that is something we'll do in the second episode, because this was episode 1 and there will be episode 2 and episode 3, and this is the end of episode 1.